Hi all, and welcome to another week. We are, I think, making our way towards autumn. Although I think I was listening to the Grand Prix yesterday, and they were having a slight argument about whether it was late summer or autumn. But given that the temperature in Italy, I think, was 28 degrees, I think they could safely say it was late summer there. And I think we can probably say it's early autumn, but there you go. So we're in the middle of Preemptember, aren't we? And I've had some great hands sent in, I have to say. So thank you for that so far. And keep them coming. Today we're looking at responding to preempts, because we've got to get that involved as well. Because of course sometimes the respond to the preempt has to do something. After that, the subsequent Mondays, we are going to be looking at the hands that have been coming in, as it were. Some brilliant examples, certainly plenty of -800s, as well as bigger scores, and a few successes as well. I think a proportion of them are. I think the ones that sort of tend to stand out for us are the ones that make a mess, rather than perhaps the ones that achieve their real goal. What's happening on the site? Well, we've got the holidays going, so we've got we are now up until June, so you can see. I'm sorry it's taken a bit of time, but we've now got lots more. I think we've got 8 or 9 extra events now up until June next year, so do look at those. A couple in Two Bridges, 2 or 3 in Denham, in the Old Barn. We've got one in on the Prom with Gwen. I'm hoping to do one myself there later in the year perhaps, but it's about getting the right timings. So do look on that. I can see if I can work out where it is. Is it there? Yes. You go to the Bridge Holidays. You can either go through our site or not. You don't have to be a member, of course. It's just a Bridge Holidays site, and you know, you're able to see the various things that we've got. And of course, don't forget we've got Christmas, of course. Christmas both at Denham and at the Old Barn, and you've got the chance to book that there. Our first event is in less than a month's time now. Going to Two Bridges, quite excited about it, in Devon. I've already heard from a few people who've been on some events with other companies, and they've been relatively successful, I think, and with no masks and things, so we will see. I think most of us, if we're going to go on an event, would prefer to be on an event. And fantastic feedback from all the people who are starting their bridge clubs and things like that. Again, a huge variety of things going on. I see Wedge Hull there posting. I know his club's back and running. But you'll see on the forum a few people have been commenting, and I'll keep you posted on that. But I think a good proportion of them are thinking of going back in September or October time, partially because that's when we think about going back to bridge. So do send me your details of that. With regard to bridge events, etc., please, we have got a charity. We do like to get involved with charities, and we've got our little charity page, but we haven't got any events on it. We had one that went last week, and I'll check how that went. With Sylvia was running an event there, but we'd love to be able to promote more. And remember, they can be live events now, so whether they're charity, but cafe bridge events or just a rubber bridge charity event, we're happy to promote that for you. So do please send us in the details with a little poster or just a little bit about it. And what we'd love to do also is to find out what happens with it, and hopefully it's successful, and we can try to generate a nice page as we go on. And well, I think that's a good way to start. So let's go to what we usually do, I think, is go to our hand evaluation. So let's look at that. So those of you with me on Friday would have seen this at the end of Friday, and I think most of us thought it was a rather nice hand. I hope you did. What I was wanting you to think about, on Fridays we're dealing with supporting majors as a whole. We've been talking about the Jacobi convention, and we're going to be doing a lot of practicing over the next 2 Fridays. We are going to be really trying to practice and make sure we understand it, and then decide whether we're going to play it. That's the important thing with looking at conventions. Have a look at them. You may well then be able to understand how other people use these conventions, and then you can decide whether or not you want to play them. You don't have to play them, of course you don't. But it's actually quite good to see the workings of them. Here though, what I really want you to do is see how excited you'd be if you had a spade fit. And imagine your partner gave you a splinter, whether it was hearts or diamonds. So splinter, of course, is shortage, showing shortage. So if you open a spade and your partner leapt to the 4 level, that would not be a natural bid. It would what we call a splinter. Again, I want you to decide what you would do if your partner made a splinter bid in either hearts or diamonds. Okay, we'll look at that. All right, so we are going to look at Preemptember. Don't forget, we're looking for the usual style here. So we're going to be, I'm hopefully doing 30-35 minutes, and then we will have a little bit of beginner stuff at the end of it. So let's go to our PowerPoint here. So we are going to do a bit of responding to preempts. So one of the ways of understanding how to respond to them is understanding what they are, and I hope you've had a chance to either to look at my seminar or most of us understand what a preempt is. Okay, when we're responding to them, there's 2 things: if you've got support or if you haven't got support. So with support, we were actually going to bid quite a lot, because if we've got a big fit, it doesn't matter how weak we are, we'll tend to find we can make a lot of tricks. But also, if we've got 2 weak hands, the opponents can probably do something. So with support, I'm going to raise aggressively, okay, and try to get in the way of the opponents, okay. Without support, we do need a pretty strong hand. Okay, so 16 or more points is the standard amount you need. Another way of looking at that is 4 quick tricks. So for example, if you had 2 ace kings, so ace king in a suit, it's not unreasonable to hope you might make a game in a major, for example. You know, you imagine your partner, I often imagine my partner with the perfect preempt, not a perfect hand, but a perfect preempt, which is king, queen, jack, 10 to 7. Okay. Okay, so partner opens 3 spades, king, queen, jack, 10 to 7. If I've got ace, king outside, there is a chance for a game. Whereas if I had a stronger hand, but with, I don't know, king, queen, jack, queen, jack, queen, jack, king, queen, jack, something like that, doesn't quite work out, but you know what I mean. No aces at all. Well, then I'm probably thinking that's not enough. So you could have 16 points and actually not go for game. Whereas you could have ace king or ace king queen ace, something like that, where you think, do you know, I think I've got enough tricks outside the suit that we might be able to make. But for the most part, if you haven't got a hand that you can imagine either with 16, 17 points or with quick tricks, then you've got to pass, even with a void or a singleton. So what do we have to bear in mind? Well, the first thing is, if you are responding to a preempt, your partner has basically finished bidding. He has described his hand. We are in charge. So you are going to make the final decisions here. Should you make a sacrifice against the opponent? That will be your decision. Your partner maybe opens 3 spades. Your opponent overcalls 4 hearts. Whether you bid 4 spades or not is your choice. It's not your partner's. He's described his hand, and if he does bid again, I've just been sent one in by someone where the opening preempter did preempt again, and they got minus 1100, and that would be all their fault and certainly not their partner's. So a lot of people, this comes up so rarely that people often forget it. If you change the suit opposite a preempt, it is a very strong bid. So if my partner opens 3 diamonds and I bid 3 hearts in response, not as an overcall, in response, I'm saying, partner, I've got a really nice hand here. Can you tell me anything else? I know you've got lots of diamonds, but if you have heart support, let's play in hearts. If you've got, I don't know, strength in another suit, show me that. Because I'm going for game, just trying to work out which one, partner. Okay, so a bid in a new suit isn't common, but it is a forcing bid. It's strong, and it's really important to have that, because a preempt is brilliant when it preempts the opponents, but sometimes it's going to preempt me. Okay, I'm sitting there with 21 points and I want to work out what the best contract is. So by bidding a new suit, I'm just saying, partner, look, do you mind having a chat? I know you've shown me you've got 7 cards in a week's hand, but if you've got anything else, who knows? We might be able to do something nice. Be wary of 3 no trumps. Okay, when you do not have a fit, you tend not to play in 3 no trumps. That's important. So if you do not have a fit, you don't. It's only when you have a fit that you play in 3 no trumps. And actually, of course, it's usually when you have a minor fit. With a major fit, let's be honest, 3 hearts, 4 hearts. But if it's a minor fit, 3 diamonds, 5 diamonds, well, making 11 tricks isn't easy. But if you've got a minor suit fit and you can make hopefully 7 tricks out of it, maybe you've got the king of diamonds and your partner's open 3 diamonds, not unreasonable to hope he might have ace queen to 7. That's 7 tricks. So suddenly 3 no trumps becomes much more favourable. But remember, it's with support. If you've got a singleton, you are going to find 3 no trumps are very, very difficult because you're not going to get to your partner's hand much. And don't forget, those of you who've seen the big seminar, what type of preempt was it? What do I mean by that? Well, was it in first seat, second seat? Was it vulnerable? Was it non-vulnerable? Okay, all of these things make a difference. So if your partner's non-vulnerable against vulnerable opponents and he's in first seat, he's possibly going to be on the weakish side. Whereas if he's vulnerable against non-vulnerable opponents in second seat, he should be on his very best behaviour. He should have a good, strong suit, etc., etc. Okay, so understanding that the different types of preempt is important. Of course, again, third in hand, very different as well when you've already passed. Okay, so let's look at some examples. Here we go. 3 spades from your partner, pass. 3 spades from your partner, pass. And it's your bid. Okay, so it goes 3 spades from your partner, there's a pass, and you are responding to your partner's preempt. Okay, and I'm hoping we are going to pass. Okay, so you either need 16 points or you need 4 quick tricks. Not the potential for 4 tricks, because by that time, you know, I'm afraid to say things would have gone pear-shaped. So here, what I do is I imagine my partner has got king, queen, jack, 10 to 7 spades, which is a nice holding. Okay. I might, by the time things settle down, I might only end up making 1 trick. So we could be going a couple off. Okay. Now this is irrespective of the vulnerability. So even if my partner was vulnerable against non-vulnerable opponents, I would not expect to be making game here. So we would just pass. And funnily enough, there's your partner's hand. Got 3 doubletons. Okay, I think 3 spades is, on a good day, you might make it. North is probably going to lead a suit that he hasn't got an ace in though. So let's say, you know, so let's say he leads a club. You might put the jack in and that might force the ace. And as you know, as you can see here, on a good day, on a perfect day, 4 spades can make. Okay, maybe the 2 kings, king of clubs and king of hearts makes, the ace, queen of diamonds finesse works, and you just lose 1 spade. So you'll make 10 tricks. That is going to happen probably about 20% of the time. Okay, so you do need to understand that you will make 10 tricks sometimes, but that doesn't make 4 spades. I often say to people, look, if you bid 4 spades and you make it, I can't tell you it's the wrong bid, but you sort of, bridges like that. It's difficult for teachers because it's one of the reasons we often play set hands, because the set hands means you're giving what's most likely to happen. So clearly if this was a set hand, you'd find that at least one of the aces was sitting over the king, maybe the king of diamonds was wrong and you'd go 1 off. You know, 3 spades 1 off won't be a disaster because 4 hearts might make. Yeah, okay, so understand that, or at least 3 hearts might make. Remember, 3 hearts makes, 3 spades minus 1 is better. Let's have a look at this one. 3 spades and it goes pass and it's your bid. So 3 spades from your partner, pass from the opponents, and it's your bid. And of course here I'm hoping you are thinking very differently, because you have beautiful support for your partner. Okay, you have beautiful support for your partner here. And not only that, generally, I mean, let's give your partner king, queen to 7 spades. Okay, this is what I tend to do in my mind. Well, if he's got king, queen to 7 spades, you're not going to make 4 spades, are you? But how many tricks are your opponents going to make? Remember, you've got 10 spades between you. So one of your opponents has a singleton spade. So between you, you're just going to make 1 spade, 1 club trick, obviously the ace of clubs, but are you going to make much else? I think your opponents often will make 4 hearts, if not 4 diamonds or 5 diamonds. So we're bidding 4 spades here, and for those of you who like it, essentially what you're doing is bidding to the level of the fit. We don't know, we can sometimes bid higher than that. Now here, you're bidding this pretty much irrespective of the vulnerability, because a lot of the time here, let's say your partner just had 2 hearts. Well, you may well find yourself only losing 4 tricks here. It wouldn't surprise me if 4 spades just went 1 off, which even if you were vulnerable against not, would be a reasonable result. Doubled, 1 off is 200, they can make 420. So again, I'm not sure the vulnerability makes much difference. I've given your partner the same hand deliberately there, but as you can see, you might be thinking, hold on, don't be silly. If we leave it in 3 spades, we'd make the contract. And that is absolutely true. 3 spades will make. But the problem here is it's gone 3 spades pass, and you know that both opponents are short in spades, let alone one of them, because you've got 10 between you. So it's going to go 3 spades pass. If you pass, South is going to be looking at his hand, and a lot of the time, surely South is going to make a bid here. Now, I guess if you know that you've looked at your opponent, maybe you're playing live bridge, you know them, you play against them hopefully for the next coming years, and you know that they are the meekest player in the bridge club, then you might choose to pass. But here I'm looking at the chances are that your opponents, I mean, there's a fair chance that if one of them's got a void, they're making a slam. If they've got a singleton spade, which remember we know they have, the only tricks they're going to lose are the ace of spades and the ace of clubs. Can you see that? So that they can make 5 hearts. Now you might think, well, I can bid 4 spades later. The problem is they're going to find a fit. So it'll go 3 spades, pass, pass, double for takeout maybe, pass obviously, 4 hearts. Now you bid 4 spades, thinking that's a good sacrifice, pleased with that. But now that South, sitting with his 19 points, knows that he's got a heart fit, I think he might bid on to 5 hearts. Okay. And now again, you can make a sacrifice against that if the vulnerability is right. But 5 spades doubled is going to cost more than 4 spades doubled. Okay, so 5 spades, if you're non-vulnerable and they're vulnerable, 5 spades is still going to be a good sacrifice. But I think if you bid 4 spades here, it's going to be very difficult for your opponents to find a 4-4 heart fit. Okay, they've got a 10-card diamond fit, but I'm not sure it's necessarily easy to bid over 4 spades. And the reason particularly over 4 spades is because we're not sure what our doubles mean. Are our doubles for takeout, or are they for penalties over 4 spades? Because we always feel a bit uncomfortable playing doubles for takeout at that high a level. So support with support. Okay, you don't have to be strong. Okay, just get in their way. And particularly if you're non-vulnerable, you can do it a lot more. Okay, let's look at this one. So you've got 3 spades here from your partner, excuse me, and the crucial element here is we don't think about no trumps here. So we've got a lovely 18 count. We've got ace king, ace queen, king queen. Surely we're going to have 4 tricks there. So we're going to go for game. It might not always make. If you're non-vulnerable against vulnerable, your partner's spade suit can be ropey. I'm quite happy to be aggressive. Okay, all right. But here, I'm going to bid 4 spades. Okay, now Why do we not bid 3 no trumps? Well, the reason we don't bid 3 no trumps is because we're going to... I bet you I've given him the same hand as the last 3 times. King, Queen, Jack, 10 to 7 and nothing else. Well, if he's got that, you never get to his hand. And you have to make 3 no trumps from your own hand. So let's look. Once again, as you've guessed, he's got that hand. Will you always make 4 spades? Probably on this hand. I think you'd be unlucky not to on this hand. You know, even if the diamond finesse was wrong and you lose a club, I think you're mostly going to make a game here because you've got the strength there. Okay, so you're likely to lose 1 spade, 1 club, obviously, and maybe a diamond. But you're going to make 4 spades. 3 no trumps would be hopeless. They can win the first spade with the ace, and then you have to make all the rest of the tricks in the east hand. And what is very, very important, this is crucial. If east bids 3 no trumps, west must pass. West has described his hand. If east chooses to bid 3 no trumps, east will usually have, opposite a 3 spade bid, east might be sitting there with a singleton spade, ace, king, queen, jack to 6 clubs. So he'll have what we call a source of tricks of his own. He's got 6 clubs in his hand, and he's thinking, do you know, partner's got the spades, I've got the other tricks covered. I'm going to bid 3 no trumps here because that's most likely to get us the best score. Okay, so when east bids 3 no trumps, he should have the type of hand that wants to play in 3 no trumps, and west should pass because west has described his hand. Okay, now if it goes 3 no trumps on this hand, west passes, it will be east's fault, not west's fault. Okay, I don't want east saying, oh, come on, partner, you should have bid 4 spades, you've only got spades. Partner, I've told you I've only got spades. If I happen to have another high card outside, you're very lucky. Okay, anyway, let's move on to the next one. Okay, you can guess what your partner's going to open this time. Okay, and of course we get this sinking feeling sometimes. You haven't had many cards, you pick up this lovely hand. We love a distributional hand, and your partner bids 3 clubs in front of you. Now, of course, you would have loved a 3 club bid against you because you'd have been able to do a lovely double for takeout here, but your partner bids 3 clubs. And of course, the 4 top trick, I should clarify that having 4 top tricks, so let's say you had ace king, is only useful, okay, is only useful if you're in a major. On this particular hand, of course, on this particular hand, you're in a minor anyway, so you're just going to pass. And you are going to sigh. Of course, you wouldn't sigh if it's live bridge, but you would definitely be sighing if it was online. And your non-bridge playing partner would then sigh with you, thinking, I wonder what's gone wrong this time. But of course, it doesn't mean anything's gone wrong. It's assuming we trust our partner's got a normal 3 club opener here. He's probably maybe non-vulnerable. He bids it. It's not a bad vulnerable opening, to be honest, because of the strength in clubs. The 10-9 of clubs makes a lot of difference here. This is why it's quite handy, particularly if you're at adverse vulnerability. So when you're vulnerable or vulnerable against not, that's when we like a few extra cards in our suit. So king, queen, 10-9, that 10-9 come in really handy here. Remember, you're expecting the suit to break 4 and 2 against you. Okay, but sometimes you just, you know, we love preempting. I hope you're going to enjoy Preemptember and experiment, etc. You've got to accept that sometimes it goes a bit wrong. Okay, but don't forget the number of times you upset your opponents when they find it difficult to bid, and that's the plan, of course. That's why we do it. And you might think, oh, I'm not sure I like doing this against my opponents. Well, they'll be doing it against you, so you need to do it more. Okay. Someone asking how many cards constitute support. To be honest, the idea of sacrificing will come up in different in the following Mondays. So when the vulnerability is in our favour, non-vulnerable against vulnerable, there'll be times where we might choose to sacrifice with a singleton support, but usually support is 2 or 3, and particularly, I mean, if you've got any roughing values at all, we'll show you another one now, just to make sure we're happy with support. Here clearly is an exceptional, so the previous 3 club opener was a disaster for us. Now it's gone 3 clubs pass. Okay, so 2-card support is a lot of support. That means you've got a 9-card fit. 3-card support, you've got a 10-card fit. And as soon as you've got 10-card fit, you know one of your opponents has a singleton. Okay, all right, so you've got to, you know, so for me, support is 2 or more. Obviously, if you're looking at a 4-4-3-2 hand with 2-card support, you haven't got any trumps. But often, remember, if the vulnerability is in our favour, if we can only see one trick in our own hand, we'll often feel that we want to sacrifice against the opponents, particularly, of course, opposite a 3-spade opening. Okay, so remember, 1 card is an 8-card fit. 2 cards is a 9-card fit, so it doesn't require much. So 3 clubs here. Wow. Do we believe our partner? Well, of course we do. We trust him. But now, we've talked about making 6 cards. We've talked about 6-card fits, opening 6-card preempts. So that is allowed some of the time, non-vulnerable against vulnerable. But most of the time, your opponents have got a void in clubs here. Okay, so as in we've got a 12-card fit, and even if we've only got an 11-card fit, they've got 2 singletons. For me, I would say 90% of the time, your opponents are making a slam. Okay, so 90% of the time, your opponents make a slam on this hand. What do I mean by that? Well, I'm expecting one of them to have a void in clubs. So if my partner's got ace king to 7 clubs, you know, we're not making any clubs. So that the only trick we're going to make is the ace of diamonds. Now, a partner might have a trick outside, but they're certainly making most. I mean, if partner's got ace king to 7, you know, he might even have ace king queen to 7. He won't have a card outside. So they are making a slam. You know they've got a big fit in hearts. Remember, we do not open in front of our preempt with a 4-card major. The reason we gave is because we might have a heart fit. Well, actually, another reason is so that the partner can judge. When I have a singleton heart, I know the opponents have a 9-card heart fit, because you won't have 4, partner. So if they've got 9 hearts between them and they've got huge amounts of strength, I need to get in the way. Now, I'm only going to bid 5 clubs here, okay? But I don't mind. I mean, depends on who you're playing against, but you can imagine bidding 6 clubs. But I think 5 clubs is probably enough, because it makes it so difficult. How do you have an accurate auction? I think South is sitting there with 20 points. 20 points and 4 or 5 hearts. What does double mean? For a lot of us, double is just penalties. Okay, bear in mind that 5 clubs, always remember it's tricky, because when the opponents jump to game, sometimes that game is a strong bid. So maybe give me ace king of spades on this hand. I'm bidding 5 clubs probably as well, surely. I'm hoping to make 5 clubs. So, you know, it's not as simple as, oh, I'll just bid now because I know they're sacrificing. Sometimes East will be hoping to make 5 clubs. Okay, so South has a tricky job of coming over 5 clubs. Okay, let's look at partner's hand. Well, I've given them the same as last time. You are looking at, clearly the opponents can only lose 1 trick. They can actually make the first round of clubs twice because they've got the ace opposite a void. As I say, I could have given your partner, excuse me, ace queen, ace king to 7. Okay, 5 clubs, you're losing 1, 2, 3, 4 tricks by the look of it. I'm quite happy to be in 5 clubs if I'm vulnerable against not. Okay, yes, it's the opponents might not bid to the slam, but you would feel, given that they've got 30 high card points between them and a void and a singleton. Remember, they both have shortage in clubs. They have a void and a singleton. So really, in total points terms, although those two are they've got the equivalent of 37 points. So you feel they should be bidding a slam, but bidding 5 clubs makes it difficult. That's all you can do, you know. And they might end up just doubling you and taking a little bit of money. Bearing in mind that 5 clubs double will often be a good sacrifice against a game contract, let alone a slam. You know, if they're vulnerable and you're not, a vulnerable slam is worth 1,430. Yes, 1,430, and you would just give 300 points away. So you'd be gaining over 1,100 points on this hand. Okay, so again, you don't need the strength. That's an exaggerated hand, but we've all seen them. Well, I hope you have. I've certainly had 6 cards opposite my partner's week 2 before. You know, obviously, if you're non-vulnerable against vulnerables, sometimes I will be opening with a 6-card club suit here, but most of the time, again, a lot of the time, even if your partner had 6, one of your opponents will have a void in clubs anyway. Okay, so you want to extend the preempt, once again, bidding to the level of the fit, although, as you can see here, you have a 12-card fit. So in theory, you could jump to 6 clubs. Okay. One last one. Partner opens 3 clubs. It goes pass again. As Brian says, I mean, on a strange day, on the previous hand, they could lead a singleton diamond to your ace and you could get a ruff, but so let's say there's a 10% chance, no, a 5% chance of them going down and slam, because bear in mind the slam might be by north, and then you'd have to lead the ace and give partner a ruff. You know, I think you're happy with that because most of the time you've got a good sacrifice against their slam. So here 3 clubs is opened, okay. And here you've got to remember it's a descriptive bid as well, and it's not unreasonable here. You've got support for the minor. Okay, here you're hoping, now it could go wrong. If partner's got Queen Jack to 7 clubs, it could go wrong, but I'm looking at, you know, bear in mind that even if my partner's just got Queen Jack to 7, he should usually have a high card outside. Okay, so if he's got Queen Jack to 7, he might have a king outside and you might still be able to make the contract. Okay, but I'm going to gamble on 3 no trumps, because if he's just got King Queen to 7, I'm making 3 no trumps, aren't I? 7 club tricks, 2 aces. Again, if you're non-vulnerable against vulnerable, there will be times that I will open 3 clubs with a 6-card suit. I'll take the blame. Okay, I will take the blame. Bear in mind, you might scrape. You might still scrape. Excuse me. 9 tricks anyway here, but as you can see here, it's a beautiful thing, and this is the descriptive element of preempts. Sometimes you actually get to the right contract because you preempt, and here partner has, very important when you're bidding 3 no trumps on hands like this, to really have a high card in support. Don't bank on your partner having the ace, king, queen of the suit. If you've got the ace, the king or the queen, it's not unreasonable to hope that 3 no trumps might come in. If you've got 2 little ones, well then, like here, as you can see, move the ace of clubs into the other suits, they can often cut you off from your partner's suit. So 2 small clubs isn't really going to work here. Okay. So that is that for our responding. We're going to be looking at a lot of hands, of course, over the next couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks for the rest of Preemptember. We'll be looking at the preempts. We'll also be looking at how you respond. In fact, I've been sent one in which we might look at next week, which I think the responder had 25 points. Was it 24? I can't remember, but not an easy hand to choose on, you know, what to do. Was it 20? Anyway, we'll see. But and I've got one here if I need it as well. So what else have we got today? We've got that hand. So let's go back to it and let's see which. Well, let's see how the auction starts and see what happens on the auction and see what we decide to do. So we'll start with a spade, and partner has jumped to 4 hearts. Okay, so it goes 1 spade, 4 hearts from our partner. What's important here is that that looks like a preempt, and if the opponents had bid 4 hearts, it would indeed have been a preempt. So 1 spade, 4 hearts by West. We do not preempt each other. If North has 8 hearts and a weak hand, he should not bid 4 hearts. Yes, it might work on the hand or whatever, but you should not be bidding 4 hearts. You've got to bid something else, okay? Because we don't like preempting each other. If you bid 4 hearts, you know, I wouldn't know whether to bid 6 or not, if that makes sense, okay? Because, you know, it doesn't take much to imagine 6. So basically, 4 hearts here is a convention. If you don't play splinters, don't worry, you just would never bid 4 hearts, I hope. Okay, here 4 hearts says, partner, I am short in hearts, I have support for your spades, and I have 11 or more high card points. Okay, so it's what we call SPL for Splinter, support, points, and a lack of cards in the suit I've bid. Now we have a 5 loser hand, which is quite exciting. Okay, so when I find spade support, sorry, I say, yeah, you know, when I get spade support, I'm pretty excited. The problem is, when my partner splinters, I look at my holding in that suit. An ace is gorgeous. Ace opposite a singleton we love. Small cards are fine, but any high cards are wasted. So it's not just the king of hearts that's wasted here, it is the queen as well. And the reason I say that is because very rarely will you have the chance to get a good discard off that king queen of hearts. So to be honest, I tend to cover up the king and queen and look at a 9 count. And with only 9 points, I don't feel I've got enough to go for slam. Okay, bear in mind that if my partner had bid 4 diamonds here, I would simply be bidding blackwood. If partner had splintered 4 diamonds, I'd ask my partner how many aces my partner had, and if he had all 3 of them, I'd be thinking of a grand slam. Okay, so there's a big difference here. Okay, so I am going to bid. Now, be careful not to pass, because it's very easy to think that. Okay, very easy to think that. Interesting, Tom asking if South had the ace queen 6, we're fitting pretty well. You would throw the queen of hearts away. So if South had ace queen 6, but the ace would be valuable. I mean, let's just have a look. It goes 4 spades. We'll assume the West goes past. We'll open up the hand and we'll just have a look at the kind of hand partner has. Okay. Oh, North has a very nice hand. In fact, he's got a 15 count and a singleton. And yet it is one of those really, really horrible hands. Because even if West makes an aggressive lead of the ace of hearts against 6 spades, it looks like you should be able to make now. But actually the discards, you can't get any useful discards for your king and queen, let alone your queen. So you would actually go off even if West chose to lead the ace of hearts. Can you see? Okay, and that's what's so interesting. The way hands fit together makes such an important difference. Okay, the way hands fit together makes such an important difference. So here, there's 2 beautiful hands actually, 29 points between them. Okay, so really you're thinking surely we should be able to make a slam, but because the diamonds are opposite each other, you can't discard enough of them. Unfortunately, you end up with a diamond loser. So obviously you lose the ace of hearts, but you end up with a diamond loser as well. It's really horrible. So it's one of those things. So actually knowing how a hand fits together makes a huge difference. Makes a huge difference, and that's why you'll see people trying to show shortages in all sorts of different ways, because hopefully the partner can judge. All you need to do is switch the hearts and diamonds there, and I hope you can see it's a very, very, very easy slam. Very easy slam indeed. Okay, notice Tom was asking if you had ace queen of hearts. If I had the ace queen of hearts, I think I would be going for slam there, because I would feel I was only missing 1 queen of hearts. And as you can see here, the ace, if you had the ace queen of hearts, you would make a slam. The only trick you'd be losing is 1 diamond, because you'd be discarding a couple of those diamonds on the ace king queen of clubs. Okay, I don't think you only use transfers if no trumps are bid here. Please remember that. So transfer would only come up in that. Okay, let's have, my wife's going to be telling me off here because I'm overrunning here, because I've still got a beginner's lesson to add in as well. So let's cover things. Real bridge. We're doing some real bridge sessions on the site soon. They are going to be coming up. We're going to start by doing them on Sunday and Monday. So they'll be on Sundays and Mondays, and they will be promoted soon. Hopefully this week, but I will come back to you on that. It'll be Sunday evening at 7 o'clock and Monday at 2:30, but I will come back to you. So that's real bridge. You do have to get some points, basically pay some money on our site. That's members, and we've got our BBO games still going on, obviously, as well, both our set hands and our duplicates. So our prize winner is Steve Parker. Well done to Steve. And he's going to be playing in seat 1 or 3 still, because a couple of them are moved to next month. So let me just show you how that goes. He's either 1 or 3. That's the ace or the 3. One of those is mine, and we'll just do a quick one. And there it is. And it is the ace of spades. So Steve, if you fancy it, you'll be playing with me. And that is in a couple of weeks' time. Okay, don't forget our teams are obviously as usual on Wednesday this time, but the prize winners teams at the end of the month, of course. Okay, so let's show the bidding quiz, and then I will do a bit on beginners afterwards. So this one a little bit easier than some of them here. So you've got a lovely hand, 19 count. You open 1 heart, and it goes pass, and your partner bids 4 heart. Okay, 1 heart, 4 hearts. Okay, so have a look at that. Okay, so I'm just going to do a bit on beginners now. So as we're going to do each time. So this is carrying on the idea of finessing. So thanks for your time, and do stay with me if you want to, of course. And we will see how things go. Don't forget, you can get the answer to that quiz on the site, whether a member or non-member. And don't forget, of course, to go to our holiday site with all the new holidays, etc. You've got all the cruises, all our holidays abroad, Croatia and Mallorca, so lots of things to look at there. So we're going to look at the basics of declare a play. Stick with it. This is a hand that you would have seen, those of you who have watched some of these, on about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we were talking. We're going to talk about finessing, and what I did is I showed us how we can play the club suit. Okay, so what we did is we chose to decide to lead up to clubs, okay, up to your clubs. And we are looking to try and make tricks in finessing when we're missing a high card. So in the club suit, we chose to win the first trick with the king. And then we're looking at the club suit in isolation. We chose to lead a small one. And by playing the queen, we're hoping to win the trick. Can South win the trick? Yes, South can certainly win the trick, but only if South has the king. If South hasn't got the king, our queen will win the trick. So what we're doing is we're hoping that North has the king. And of course what we decided was the chances were 50-50. So when it goes a small one, North has already played. He can't play the king now. So we're going to play the queen. If we play the ace, clearly we're going to win the first trick. And the problem with finessing is it's difficult when you start playing bridge, because there's this thing called lose trickophobia. We tend to want to win the ace, but then what are we going to do on the next round? We will lose to the king. Whereas I think we might be able to swallow that king. So we're going to play the queen, and our queen has won. What we would do next, as we saw, we crossed over, played another club to the jack. And there's nothing that North could do. And we saw that we made all the clubs that way. What I want to do now is I want to try and make all the diamonds. Okay, so we've played the clubs. We're on the right-hand side of the screen now. And I want you to decide how you're going to play the diamonds. So it's subtly different from the last one. Would you like to lead diamonds from the left-hand side or the right-hand side? Because this is slightly more difficult. Okay, you've got high cards in both cards. The key here is you want to give your ace the chance to kill the king. So I think if you lead the ace, it's no good. If you lead a small one, it's no good, because the player with the king can play it and win the trick. I think we need to be leading towards the ace. Does that make sense? So because the queen, jack and 10 are a nice solid sequence, they're all together, queen, jack, 10, I don't mind sacrificing one of them. Imagine the queen gets killed by the king. Well, my ace might be able to win that, and I'd still have the jack and 10 left. Okay, I've got, it's what we call solid, when you've got lots of cards together. So we lead the queen of diamonds, and I'm going to take a gamble again. South plays small. Can North win the trick? Yes, North can. If I play a low one, North can win the trick, undoubtedly, but only if he has the king. If South has the king, can you see the idea? The queen wins the trick. What do we do next? Well, the queen won that one. Why not try another one? So I'm going to try the jack. That's interesting. This time South is covered with the king, and I've quickly put the ace on there because I double clicked there. So it goes jack, king, and our ace has killed the king. That means the ace, king, queen, jack have gone. And my 10 is a winner as well, which is great news. Okay, so suddenly, both in clubs and diamonds, I've not lost a trick. I have managed to, and there's nothing South can do. Whichever, if he never plays his king, my queen wins, my jack wins, and eventually my ace wins. Now, he'll win the 4th round of the suit eventually, but I'm not going to be playing them anymore. So it's really difficult for South. Okay, once again, we've managed to make all 3 tricks, even though we're missing one of the top 3 cards. It's interesting, isn't it? So let's look at those 2 suits there. In clubs, as I say, 2 or 3 weeks ago, we looked at that suit. We played a club to the queen, we crossed over, and we played a club to the jack, and there was nothing that North could do. In diamonds, we've done a similar thing. We've led the queen, and we've ended up crushing the king against our ace. There's another suit that we're going to look at next week, the hearts. And we're going to see whether we can actually make an extra trick, even though we're missing a high card in that. Finesses come up all the time. Getting used to how they work is so, so important. Okay, so hope you enjoyed that one. And that is just trying to bed in the technique of finessing. And we're going to keep going on declare play. Those of you who are on the site, you can see those lessons in Begin Bridge. So the very first few chapters of Begin Bridge software. And you do have the chance to go on for a month if you're a beginner. Please do give us a ring if you want to, and we can give you access to have a go on that and practice. And of course you actually practice with the actual, well, not cards in your hand, cards on your computer, and it gives you a chance to do it. And of course practice tends to make perfect. The most important thing in many ways when you're learning bridge is to bed in the card play and the defense. So important. Okay, so well, I hope you enjoyed that. I'll just put up that bidding quiz again for those of you who want to see it. Of course, it's not a beginner's quiz. I can mention that on the site, of course, for those of you who are used to it. There is a novice quiz, so which goes with the beginners. So you've got that option as well. So I hope you enjoyed that. See some of you around the site. Don't forget to go to our holiday site as well. Lots of things going on there. And hopefully lots of games going on as well. And last but not least, do send us in your charity events. If anybody's got any charity events that they want to promote, get more people out, do that. Otherwise, I'll have to do one. Who knows? We'll see. So thanks for your time, and see you again soon.